Hello, handsome. You know, I can barely speak English, and that got me thinking. What if there are other places in the world where they also don't speak English? And what if those places had people who played music? Well, to my shock, there is a whole world out there of artists who make music in a language other than English. I did my best to compile 5 of those artists in this very video, and we're going to check them out now. Be sure to leave a like if you dig the video, and let's get started. Also, y'all know how I like my disclaimers, so here we go. This is a cliche among YouTubers at this point, but I do apologize in advance if I mispronounce anybody's name. I promise I don't just wing it and that I actually do look up their pronunciations beforehand. However, mistakes happen. Out of respect for the artist, if I cannot find a pronunciation for their name, I will simply show it on screen instead of butchering it. Thank you for your grace. So I actually got the idea for this video from my friend who wanted me to talk about his favorite artists, so we're going to start with them. Hi, Nigel. 9mm Parabellum Bullet is a post-hardcore band from Japan that formed in 2004. They've had the same lineup since they formed, with Sugawara Takaro on vocals and rhythm guitar, Taki Yoshimitsu on guitar, Nakamura Kazuhiko on bass, and Kamijo Chihiro on drums. Majority of their songs are sung in Japanese with like a little bit of English sprinkled in here or there. You'll see this as we go along, but a lot of artists don't sing purely in their own language and will sprinkle in, lyrics from other languages as well. Their music is under like the post-hardcore label, so fans of artists like At the Drive-In will really like them. Actually, when At the Drive-In had gone and toured in Japan, 9mm was one of the bands that opened for them. This actually ties into their explosive stage presence, and they have a ton of energy that can be seen both in their live shows and can be heard on their albums. Like if you're trying to find some high energy music to drive fast and break shit to safely and legally that isn't just some British or American band, then these guys should be your first pick. They've actually written and recorded 9 full-length albums over their 20 years together, with my buddy's favorites being Revolutionary, released in 2010, and Waltz on Lifeline, released in 2016. They're really well respected in Japan, but I don't really see a lot of discussion about them happening in America. Most of their albums have hit the top 10 on the charts in Japan, and actually in 2020, there was a tribute album released of other Japanese rock bands covering their songs. They did actually get some more exposure in the States when they wrote 2 of the opening songs for the most recent anime adaptation of Berserk. It is a shame that these guys don't have more of an audience in America, because I think that if they had gotten a little more exposure in like the late 2000s, early 2010s, they would have found some success in America. I really enjoy their music, but I will go ahead and let my friends sum up why they are so special. 9mm is a band unlike any I've heard. It's a band that started with a fantastic sound that has only gotten better with time. Their songs have a way of conjuring feelings of awe, with each member complementing each other so naturally. The vocals are almost an instrument themselves, with Sugawara Takaro's dreamlike voice bringing the thunder if the song calls for it, and Taki Yoshimitsu's backing vocals accenting him perfectly. It's a band that anyone with a musically opened mind will love. It's my favorite band, and honestly, I think it should be yours too. The second artist I want to talk about is actually an all-woman supergroup from Africa that has been picking up a lot of steam since they formed about a decade ago. Les Amazons d'Afrique is a musical group that has become a much larger project than what it started out as. They formed in Bamako, Mali in 2014 by 3 women who were already established music stars and social change activists. Even though these 3 women were the ones who started the group, it has since become a multi-generational collective of artists from all across Africa. And this makes it interesting because while a lot of the artists in this video only sing in 1 or 2 languages, this group has songs sung in languages from all across the entire continent. Some of these languages include Mandingo, Hausa, and Bambara, to name a few. They also use their music as a vehicle to bring awareness to a lot of political causes, with gender equality being a main focus. Their music actually touches on a lot of different genres, with their first album being more like bluesy and even having like some psychedelic influences, and their latest has a lot more electronic elements added in. Something to pay attention to, though, when you actually do go and listen to them is that every vocalist in this group is ridiculously talented. Like legitimately some of the best singing that I've ever heard. They've released 3 records under Peter Gabriel's label Real World Records, and all of these albums have been met with critical acclaim. They even got the Obama bump when he featured them on his favorite songs of 2017 list alongside Kendrick Lamar and Frank Ocean, which was at least somewhat of a positive that year. Their most recent album, which came out this year, is my favorite by them and features synths, drum machines, and hooks that will stay with you for the rest of your life. This third artist is a pop artist from Palestine who has a dream of using his music to free his country and its people. Bashar Murad is a Palestinian pop singer who was born in East Jerusalem and over the years has built a reputation as a rebel who isn't afraid to stand up for what he believes in. As a member of the LGBTQ community, his work is incredibly political but never loses the energy that makes pop music fun. He sings mostly in his native language of Arabic. Bashar actually comes from musical royalty since his father is the legendary Said Murad, who was a founding member of the group Sabrine, which was a Palestinian group in the 1980s. Hey, what's up, guys? So I literally just caught this while I was editing. His name is Saeed, not Said. So that is the correct pronunciation. Thank you. In Palestine, Sabrine was an incredibly influential band, with many of its members being some of the most well-respected in the country. So it makes sense that Bashar would make a splash coming from such a musical background. In recent years, he's released his own music but got some notoriety when he did a cover of the unofficial national anthem for Palestine, which is the song Matini that dates back to the 1930s. When he spoke with the publication Them, Bashar had stated that pop music is, quote, music for the masses, and my mission has always been to bring Palestine into the mainstream. Right now, he has an EP that was released in 2021 titled Mascara, and its title track is one of the best pop tracks released this decade. The video and lyrics feature pretty heavy imagery of the occupation of Palestine, but is also so upbeat that as an English speaker, you wouldn't realize how dark the song is just by listening to it. Bashar still doesn't have a ton of music out, and I would really like to see more from him in the future, and I really think he has the ability to realize his dream of bringing Palestine into the mainstream. The fourth artist I want to bring up is a Brazilian singer-songwriter who has been making a name for themselves internationally over the last few years. Ana Frango Elétrico, whose name translates to Anna Electric Chicken, is a non-binary artist who blends multiple genres into a sound so cohesive that it's entirely its own thing. As both a child of a visual artist and a student of the University of Rio de Janeiro, they have plenty of experience in both the art and music world. Their music is sung in their native language of Portuguese. Anna is an interesting figure who's gotten a lot of acclaim internationally when their second album was picked up by some pretty famous critics. Their album Little Electric Chicken Heart, which came out in 2019, has a number of accomplishments, including being nominated for the Best Portuguese Language Rock or Alternative Album at the Latin Grammy Awards. I, along with many others, were introduced to their music, however, when the online music critic Anthony Fantano covered it back when it came out. So far, they have 3 albums out that have all been showered with praise and features genres ranging from jazz to bossa nova to rock to electronic. The thread that ties them all together, though, is Anna and their ability to make danceable and heartfelt music that never stays in one place for too long. Their most recent album that came out in 2023 is my personal favorite and has been on constant repeat for me. Anna spoke with the publication Clash about the album with, quote, I started it in 2021 with the intention of showing in means of sound, understanding and feelings about queer love, subjectively exposing myself. Feeling was its driving force, and the album is really about musical production. There's so many references to different decades, 70s drums with 80s processing, going back, getting beyond, testing the limits of organic sounds. This next artist we're going to talk about, and the one we're going to close out the video with, is actually one that I mentioned in a video I did a little while back about Russian music. Husky is a controversial figure in his home country of Russia whose shows are constantly being shut down by local authorities because of his stances against the government. He has been arrested by authorities for continuing one of his shows after it was shut down, and he raps in his native language of Russian. Husky definitely has a different image from the other artists in this video. I obviously can't understand what he is saying, however, he is known to be very outspoken politically, which is reflected in the violent imagery in his videos. The Russian government and Putin are very anti-hip-hop, which makes Husky kind of a double target, and this would lead to a lot of the censorship that he felt in the late 2010s. His last album came out in 2020, but I enjoyed his album that came out in 2017, and that one was released shortly before the Russian government began to crack down on and censor more politically outspoken artists. The song Bullet Fool off of this one is a favorite of mine. Rap music is a very lyrical genre, so it is difficult to get into that genre for an artist who is rapping in a language you can't understand. But I do hope that doesn't deter anybody from checking out Husky's music, especially because his videos are also very good. And that was it. I think in the English-speaking world, we have a habit of avoiding music that's not sung in our native language, which is a shame because there is a lot of great music from all over the world. It's even worse that sometimes we'll categorize music from other countries as world music, which is stupid. I do have a habit of listening to music only in English, but I think it is helpful to branch out and find artists that you might not otherwise listen to because they sing in another language. I'll probably do some more videos centering around 5 albums or artists, so definitely stick around if you want to see something like that. Be sure to subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.